is Taslim Imad, working for Steamship Mutual. Steamship Mutual is P&I provider to one of the best. We have offices in Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Cyprus, London, Bermuda, New York. So we are one of the big P&I provider. So from the risk point of view, I would like to discuss safe carriage of EVs. So as we know, climate change and global warming is a big issue, and because of that we are trying to change our habits. One of the biggest change we have started to see is rapid growth in use of electric vehicle, and because of that we are going to see large shipment of electric vehicle. That comes with the risk. Some in the industry, they will say EV, they are perfectly safe, their shipment is absolutely safe. To a point, they are absolutely correct. But from the risk point of view, when there is a thermal runaway, then risks are totally different. They are significantly higher. That's why I would like to discuss some of the measures for the safe carriage of EVs. Throughout my presentation, when I'm mentioning EVs are pure electric and hybrid cars with lithium-ion batteries. So any EVs, they could be brand new cars, they could be second-hand cars. They can be carried on ferries, they can be carried on car carriers, they can be carried on container ship, container barges, or general cargo vessels. Problem with those EVs, they have lithium-ion batteries, and lithium-ion batteries, we know they could be damaged if they are overcharged or over discharged, if they are overheated, or mechanical physical damage. So one cell will get damaged and that will spread. So when one cell gets damaged, there is a chemical reaction. So imagine one cell is damaged, that will produce off gases, and that particular cell also producing heat inside. So when that heat is produced inside, that will be vented. But the problem with lithium-ion, there is more heat produced inside than it is vented. So eventually what will happen, the electrolyte is a flammable liquid, that will get damaged, and that will lead to short circuit, and that will start thermal propagation. So that single cell which was damaged, that is spreading to the other cells, and as of today there is no medium you can stop it. So you have this cycle. So when this cycle is started, it will lead to thermal runaway. Thermal runaway will take you to the explosion, fire, and it will produce toxic gases. And now you imagine yourself all of these EVs on passenger ferries. You have 2,000 passengers, you have nearly 500 cars, all of them are EVs. You can imagine the scenario. Similarly, on the car carriers, brand new cars, normally most of you will be aware of it, brand new cars, when they are being loaded, mirror to mirror distance is 10 centimeters and the bumper to bumper distance is 30 centimeters. So imagine you have 4,000 cars, you have no access to the car who is going to have thermal runaway. It's right in the middle, it's going to burn. So there is a big issue with the PCTC vessels. And similarly, some of the cars, especially the old cars, they are being shipped in containers. And as of today, when we are transporting electric cars or any car inside containers, they are just normal cargo. And what will happen, just imagine a scenario, that particular car inside container is loaded between the IMDG cargo, class 2, class 3, flammable gases, flammable liquids, and that car has started thermal runaway. You can imagine the scenario. So in addition to thermal runaway, there are other things we need to be concerned about, or there are other things we need to look into it, which are current regulations. So as of today, current regulation in terms of ship design and safety equipment, there is no additional requirement. You can ship all of your EVs on your existing ship, whatever you have. You don't have to have any additional equipment, any additional measures. And all of those that covers in SOLAS chapter 22, 123, all of those regulations. And that's what happened. But as far as I'm aware of it, there are discussion ongoing at IMO levels. But as we know, IMO is very slow. It will take a couple of years before they agree to something. But when they agree to something, what could happen? Those new regulation, fire safety or ship design regulation, may not be implemented to existing ship. They may be only implemented to new ships. So we will have this problem. So that is why we are asking our ship owners to look into their procedures and enhance their own safety. They need to look into the proactive measures. Other issue, crew training. All of us know there are minimum requirement as per SCCW. SCCW deals with only general emergency, fire emergency, or some of the special cargoes like gas or passengers. That's all they do it. For them, thermal runaway is just a normal fire. From the risk point of view, that is a big thing for us. And that is why we are proposing, we could suggest to the member, they need to look into invest into crew training so they understand what are lithium-ion batteries, what is thermal runaway, and what are the consequences to it. They will need to carry out big risk assessment by the expert, and it is possible that after that assessment, ship owners may need to have additional equipment on board in addition to the statutory equipment. Some of these statutory equipment are not good enough. Similarly, because of that assessment, ship owners say, okay, we haven't got sufficient manning. They may need to look into manning levels. Then another aspect is commercial pressure and commercial impact. So I was doing just my own research. I was speaking to the people, I was speaking to ferry operators, I was also browsing their website. What I have learned, I could be wrong, but that was my limited research. So when you go on any ferry company website, you can book your vehicle, and they will not ask you what type of vehicle you're booking, if it is EV or not. And I was also speaking to the passengers. They were telling me they were driving electric vehicle from the booking point to check-in. Nobody asked them, is it EV? What is your state of your battery? So they were going on board. At the same time, when they were going on board, they were asking crew, can we plug in our cars? Our battery is low. So that was happening, or this is actually happening now. And we have seen these type of queries. So for some companies, this could be a good selling point to invest into charging. But the problem is those charging equipment as of today, I do not know, as of today there is no marine type of equipment either by class or flag. But when you're looking, or when those ships owners are looking to invest into EV chargers for their ferries, they also need to look into it that EV charger is compatible with the ship and compatible with the cars. If it's not compatible, it's not going to work. At the same time, all the generators on board, imagine you have 500 EVs, everything is going to plug in. Imagine, your ship system, electricity system or generator would be able to cope that additional. At the same time, everybody knows new regulation is coming, CII, carbon emission, how it's going to affect your CII rating if everybody start to plug in. So we need to look also into that. That was from the ferry point of view. From the PCTC point of view or car carrier point of view, this industry is governed by the OEMs. Big major brand, they say, okay, 5,000 cars, 6,000 cars, they are going. And ship owner, they will just carry. At the moment, what I heard from my research, current standards are EV, they are being shipped on large PCTC carriers 30 to 50% charge level. But there are some OEMs who are asking, we want our EVs to be to be shipped at 100% charge level. So we believe OEMs and the ship owners, they need to speak to each other about these risks, what could happen, and based on those risks, they need to have mutually agreed some safety regulation and protocol. So if they do that, everybody will benefit. Lastly, some of the EVs or old cars, second-hand cars market, they use container ship. So when the container ship goes on board, or container comes on board, they are loaded, and for the chief officer or anybody, just a normal cargo, if it's loaded next to the IMDG cargo, then problem could be there. So we believe, so because of that, they need to communicate with each other, a shipper and ship owner. For the shipper is a second-hand car, he is going to give it to you. I've been reminded about the time. Just to quickly summarize what we discussed, I think we need to have dedicated position for the EVs. If there is 100% cargo is EV, then you need to think about reducing the volume of the cargo. You have to have additional monitoring equipment. We are talking about fixed equipment. EV batteries, they are in the bottom. If there is any thermal runaway start or gases released, they will be all on the low level, not on the high level. So need to invest in those. And then there is additional firefighting equipment. We know from the SOLAS regulation point of view, on ferries, if you have 5-6 derenture section, your fire pump only able to cope with two derenture areas, two sections. If you have an issue with the third area, you will have less pressure and less effectiveness. Enhanced crew training. And then additional portable equipment for the crew they need to carry. And then charging a station when they are installing on board, they have to have approved equipment and they have to have proper maintenance. Again, ship electrical equipment needs to be able to cope what you are installing on board. Right, and reviewing manning level.